The UK experienced a boom in buy-to-let investing between the mid-1990s and mid-2010s. Many of those landlords did pretty well financially, thanks to a combination of house price appreciation and cheap borrowing costs, especially after 2008. But the number of amateur landlords in Britain has plummeted in recent years, and there are several reasons why. Since 2015, the UK government has introduced a series of measures to cool the market. For example, changes to mortgage interest relief have significantly increased the tax burden on landlords, as has the 3% stamp duty surcharge on buy-to-let property purchases. Another major factor has been the impact of higher interest rates since 2022. In a nutshell, investing in buy-to-let property is far less attractive now than it was 20 or 30 years ago. That's not to say that it's a bad idea entirely, particularly if you buy in parts of northern England and in Wales, where prices are lower than the national average. However, the case for buy-to-let is far weaker than it used to be, and it's very important to consider the downsides. Here then are 8 harsh truths to bear in mind before investing. 1. Property is a very illiquid asset. It may take you many months or even years to sell. Even in a strong market, the process of finding a buyer, negotiating a price, completing the legal work, and finalising the sale can take several months. 2. As a landlord, your income depends on reliable tenants. Your tenants could lose their job, become ill or have an accident, and fall into arrears with the rent. When tenants leave or you have to evict them, your property could be empty for a long time. Also, property damage or disputes with tenants can lead to unexpected repair costs and legal expenses. 3. Landlords are vulnerable to concentration risk. If you own or have a mortgage on your own home, you are already heavily exposed to residential property. By investing in buy-to-let, you're doubling down on property exposure, which could come back to haunt you if prices fall sharply. 4. When house prices fall, they can fall fast. You could find yourself in negative equity, where the value of your property drops below the remaining mortgage balance. This is a serious risk because it limits your ability to remortgage or sell without taking a financial hit. 5. The frictional costs of buy-to-let are considerable. Upfront costs include estate agents' fees, stamp duty, legal fees, mortgage arrangement fees, and survey costs. Ongoing expenses include landlord insurance, property maintenance, letting agent fees, and compliance costs. 6. Property requires regular maintenance. It's never a good time for tenants to call you to say that something needs fixing. If you don't want the responsibility of maintaining the property yourself, you could be paying upwards of 15% of your rent to a property manager. 7. Owning a buy-to-let property entails significant administration. Tasks include drawing up and renewing a lease agreement, arranging insurance, keeping records of expenses, and providing tenants with, for example, an energy performance or gas safety certificate. Finally, harsh truth number 8. The tax burden on landlords is much higher than it was. I've already mentioned the changes to mortgage interest relief and the stamp duty surcharge on buy-to-let purchases. Significant reductions in the capital gains tax allowance for landlords have also had an impact. So, there are 8 good reasons to think very carefully before buying a property to rent. Just to reiterate, buy-to-let investing is not a black and white issue. There may be an argument, say, for buying a property for your children or grandchildren to live in. You could, if you wanted, buy the property in joint names. There are downsides as well as advantages to that as well. The bottom line is that there are risks involved in any investment, and residential property is no exception. Yes, we've seen impressive growth in UK house prices over the last 30 years, but that won't last indefinitely. If prices crashed, you could easily lose money. One last thing, don't forget the hassle factor. If you already lead a busy life, do you honestly have time for all the admin involved? Do you really want the bother of dealing with a tenant who's behind with the rent, or a boiler that's broken down on a Saturday night? For all of these reasons, I personally much prefer shares to buy-to-let property as a long-term investment. Investing in low-cost index funds is very much easier and far less time-consuming than investing in buy-to-let. Now, if you decide to invest in low-cost equity funds rather than buy-to-let property, you're going to need what's called an investment platform. There are several to choose from, but my personal favourite is InvestEngine. DIY investors can use InvestEngine free of charge, and there are no hidden fees. You only pay the expense ratios of whichever ETFs you invest in. InvestEngine offers a stocks and shares ISA and a self-invested personal pension, or SIP. And both its mobile and web platforms are user-friendly. In short, InvestEngine is ideal for both new and established investors. TEBI viewers receive a welcome bonus of up to £100 when they invest at least £100 with InvestEngine. Now, you must stay invested for at least 12 months, and I may earn a commission. Just click on the link in the bio or YouTube description. Alternatively, you can use my promo code TEBI. That's TEBI, short for the evidence-based investor. If you sign up, I may earn a commission. This video, like all of our videos, is intended for educational and informational purposes only and should not be considered financial advice. If you found it helpful, why not leave a comment? And if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, where you'll find hundreds of videos about investing. Until next time, goodbye.